Hey, this is Josh Alexander, and this is your Orange County Housing Report for January 2020. So happy New Year. With the new year comes a brand new housing market, especially compared to last year. So last year we started off the inventory around 5,900 homes in Orange County. This year we're looking at only around 3,900 homes. So you're looking at about 2,000 homes less than what we started with last year. So inventory is extremely low this year. It's one of the 3 lowest points that we've been to start a year in over the last 20 years. So in terms of the other side, demand, right now interest rates are still hovering around the 3.75, which they've been at that for about a month and a half now. Haven't really seen any significant changes over the last few weeks with those, and I don't really see that changing significantly over the next couple weeks either. So those historically low interest rates are keeping buyers in the market, and many more buyers will be entering the market this year starting in a few weeks. So speaking of, usually you're going to start seeing sellers place their homes on the market in large scales starting around March going through May and June. This year, I think it's going to be happening a little bit earlier because the pent-up demand has been so high over the last few months. Smart sellers are going to start placing their homes on the market before the rest of the competition because there's plenty of buyers looking for homes right now. So I expect over the next 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to start seeing a pretty significant uptick in the amount of homes that you're seeing on the market. And this is going to be great news for buyers who over the last month and a half have seen really no new homes hitting the market, and you're really left with not very many choices. It might be discouraging, but give it a few weeks, you're going to start seeing the inventory pick up. Now buyers, although this is exciting news to see that inventory should start picking up soon, you still have to remember that inventory started the year extremely low. So even as the market starts picking up as we move into February, you're still going to have fewer choices than you did last year. And with the amount of buyers looking at properties, you're going to have a lot more multiple offer situations, especially for homes under $750,000 right now, because that's where more than 50% of the market in terms of buyers are looking at. If you look at the graph right up here, the average days on market right now is around 57 days. Last year at this time, you were looking at almost double that at 107 days. So the market is completely different starting this year than it was last year. And again, you've seen this in my past videos, but that is due to last year, we started off with a much higher inventory. Also, the interest rates were a lot higher, so not a lot of buyers in the market at the beginning of the year. This year, completely different. So if you're a buyer, you need to make sure that you have your finances in order, because over the next 2 to 3 weeks, if you don't have everything ready to go as those flood of homes start hitting the market, if you find that perfect place and you don't have your pre-approval ready to go from your lender, you're most likely going to miss out, because the amount of homes that will have multiple offers on them this year will be significantly higher than they were last year, because the market this year is much more leaning towards a seller's market than at the beginning of last year, which we were actually slightly in a buyer's market last year for the first few months because of those high interest rates. So make sure your finances are in order. Make sure you've talked to your lender, get the pre-approval. Those pre-approvals are usually good for 90 days, so there's no harm in getting it now, even if you're not planning on looking until the end of February or March, because you'll be able to put an offer in if one of those properties does happen to come up earlier than you were expecting and you really like it. Because if that's not there and that pre-approval hasn't happened yet, you're going to have a really hard time competing with the other buyers that are ready to go putting their house on the market. Now sellers, on the other hand, like I said before, a lot of people wait till March. They want to wait till spring or summer market because that's when they think they're going to get the most offers and the most amount of traffic. This year, like I said earlier, I believe sellers need to start thinking about placing their homes on the market probably the 1st or 2nd week of February, which is only a few weeks away. So you need to be making sure that everything is ready to go, prepped, painted, the house looks good, it's been cleaned, everything's been decluttered, and you're ready to place it on the market. Because if you don't want to have a lot of competition to deal with, but you still want a lot of buyers, mid-February is going to be a perfect time to start placing your home on the market to take advantage of all these buyers that have been sitting on the sidelines for the last month and a half with no choices. Now is when they're going to start looking to place those offers. So if you want little competition with a lot of buyers, you really need to start looking at getting your home on the market sooner rather than later this year. Now this is for both buyers and sellers. If you're looking at the appreciation, I expect the majority of appreciation will probably happen over the first 6 months this year. And that's again due to the supply and demand issue that we're having to begin the year. So as these houses hit the market and you have multiple offers on it, those prices are going to be driven up. Now they're not going to go up 5% overnight. So buyers, when you're placing offers, you don't need to go crazy and place offers $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over the latest comparable sale. But you do need to be prepared to be able to place a few $1,000s over, because that's where these markets are heading right now. And to compete with multiple offer situations, you have to be able to pay a little bit of a premium, but you need to make sure you're staying in fair market value, because there's no reason to overpay in this market right now, but you need to expect that you'll be paying a little bit more than the last sale. Now on the other end, sellers, again, you're not expecting a 5% appreciation in a month. So you can't be overzealous and price your home extremely high, because that's going to drive the buyers away to someone else's home, which is priced at fair market value. The better play here is to make sure your home is priced at fair market value, get as many buyers in as possible, and hope for a multiple offer situation, because that will help drive the price up as high as it can go. So one final note for buyers. If you've been renting and renting and renting for years, you probably already know this, but rental costs have been going up significantly. And actually, in general, Orange County and LA have been going up significantly faster in rental prices than the rest of the United States. So every year, as rental prices increase, especially over the last 7 to 8 years, home prices have been also increasing, but not quite as fast. So we're at a point now that a lot of times the median price of home ownership in Orange County is actually less than what you'd be paying if you're renting the medium rental property in Orange County. So the only way to find out if financially it makes more sense for you to purchase a home now versus continuing to rent and continuing to watch your payments go up and up and up is to talk to a lender. And they'll be able to tell you, based on which programs you might qualify for, what your average mortgage payment's going to be. And you can take that number, compare it to what you're currently paying in rent, and that way you can make a good financial decision on if this is going to be the year that you're going to take that plunge and start looking for a home, because it makes good financial sense to start purchasing versus having your rent go up every single year and continue to go up and not really know when it's going to stop. So yes, they just passed a bill that will cap the amount of rent increases they can give you, but in Orange County, that's still going to be anywhere from 5 to 10% every single year that they can raise rents, and you're not going to know how much that's going to be until your 12-month rental agreement comes up and they raise rents again. So if you want to be able to lock yourself into a payment that you know is going to stay the same for the next 30 years, it might be worth talking to a lender to figure out which option is going to be best for you. And the best part about talking to a lender is it's completely free. So you can talk to them, give them your financial information. They'll give you an average mortgage payment of what you can expect to pay based off of the loan that you qualify for. And then you can take that information and decide, is it time to purchase? Should I stay at my rental? And they'll be able to help you through that process. And again, if it ends up you're better off renting, you don't pay anything to find that information out. So it's always worth at least checking to see where you stand, because if there's something that you need to do over the next 6 to 12 months to be in a better position to buy, let's say maybe next year, the lender will also be able to help you out with that as well. They can recommend different things to improve your credit score, how to save for a down payment, what type of down payment you might need. One of the biggest myths out there right now for buyers is that you need 20% down to purchase a home, and that's completely false. In actuality, most people in Orange County, especially first-time home buyers, are spending less than 10% for their down payment, and a lot of them are spending anywhere from 3 to 4%, which are the most popular mortgage loan options right now, like the FHA loan and other possibilities that you might be able to qualify for. So again, you'll know none of this information unless you actually talk to a lender and get the information yourself, because every person's financial situation is a little bit different. So take the plunge, talk to a lender, and at least figure out where you stand, because that way you know how to plan for the future if you can't purchase now. And if you can purchase now, great, you can start that pre-approval process and be ready for that wave of houses that will be hitting the market in the next couple weeks, and be in the best position to place offers and have a successful offer accepted and get into escrow as quick as possible before appreciation starts to catch up with the market and homes get more expensive towards the middle of this year. So what's going to be happening over the next few months? Well, for sellers, we already went over that in terms of when inventory will start hitting the market and the best time to place your home on the market. But for buyers, one thing to note is the feds have already come out and said they don't want to be manipulating interest rates any more than they have to because it is an election year. So I'm thinking the interest rates will probably remain about the same, 3.75, maybe up to 4% over the next 6 to 9 months. So that's good news for buyers, because if you're not quite ready yet, but you need to look for a property a little bit down the line, yes, homes will probably be more expensive 2 or 3 months from now than they are today, but interest rates are going to remain low, which is going to keep mortgages affordable and keep those properties affordable for you to be placing offers on even through spring into summer. So it's great news for buyers, great news for seller. Overall, we're looking at a healthy housing market this year, so I'm excited to see what the rest of the year is going to bring us.